Hello, my name is Michelle Hunt, and this is Module 10, Student Learning Norms. 10 student learning norms that help to keep students engaged. Relationships. Relationships is my number one thing. Something that stuck out to me, though, in the reading was, am I just another face in the classroom? A test score. This is huge for me. As you can see on my bullet points, I always think that relationships are first before curriculum. This should be the first thing that you do each year as an administrator or a teacher. You need to know your students' interests and talents, and if you do not build strong student relationships, you are less likely to have high achievement. I used to have a lot of students with behavior would come to my room with behavior problems, and my number one thing was to build a relationship or a foundation with them and then move forward. And a lot of my behaviors were nixed. I didn't have behaviors like some of the other teachers would have previously or would still have if the student left my classroom. So from self-observation as well as research, I do know relationships is your number one thing to do to build with students. Relevance. Is the learning relevant to their students' interests? This is really important. Just finding things that interest your students, things that will make them excited to come to school, keep them engaged in their learning. Are we helping students understand why they're learning the certain standards? Help kiddos know what they're learning and why. Sometimes they don't realize that, oh, I could use this if I'm doing such and such a job in the future. Telling them those types of things is little light bulb moments for them of, ooh, I need to pay more attention to this. How are these standards relevant to them in the future? I just kind of touched on that. Just kind of teaching to those career-ready standards, letting them know that some of these standards could be used in a trades type of work, or some of these might be used in a college type of job, so that you would go to college for. So just really helping them understand that, how those standards are used in the future. Time. Is the curriculum pacing set by students or teachers? And I think this is something that all districts kind of are bound by, especially the testing grades. I know I am a reading teacher for 4th and 5th grade students, reading intervention teacher, I should say, and we're bound by getting certain standards and certain things done by a certain amount of time before state testing. So I do think it's important to pace at your students. When I taught 2nd grade for years, that was something I really did, is paced how my students needed to be taught, not, oh, my pacing guide dictates that I have to spend 1 day on lesson 2. Do students have the ability to dig deep into a subject of interest? Really having that extra time that if your kiddos are really enjoying a subject you're doing, dig in deeper. Let them come up with a project, or give them something that they can extend that learning on. And it doesn't even have to be all students. That's something with my higher level students that I used to do is if they really enjoyed something, I would then let them create their own passion project and dig deep into that subject. Timing. Do all students have to learn things in the same sequence? Again, I think this is a lot of dictated by state testings and the when we need to have things done by for testing. Play. This is really important. Let students have the opportunities to explore. My school has an explorations room. We kind of have it closed off right now for COVID, but normally our primary kiddos especially get to go into this exploration room, and it's themed per the time of year or different subjects or seasons, and just really gives them time to explore deeper into some of those things that they're learning in the classroom. Giving opportunities to fail. This is huge to me. If we don't teach our kiddos how to fail, and that it is okay to fail and okay to move on and try again, then we are failing our students. Project-based learning. Big proponent of passion projects and project-based learning. That is something that I did in the classroom. All my kids were able to come up with a project-based or a passion project. I did a lot of project-based assessments and let them choose and have choice within how they were going to be assessed. So that's something that I am a big proponent on. Practice. Do you give students time to practice skills they were just learned? This is important. I feel that sometimes we do just move on really fast on what we're doing. We don't give time for those students to really learn the skill and hone it. We just kind of skim the surface. So teaching our kiddos that it is okay to stop, practice, ask questions, dig deeper into something or into a standard or a subject is important. Choice. Give students the ability to decide how they demonstrate their knowledge of a standard. This I kind of just touched on. I love to give choice on assessments. Some students love to just take a test. They want to get it done. They want to get it over with. Some students would like to write a paper over their knowledge. Some students would like to do a project or a play or some type of picture. I did a lot of that with on how to demonstrate knowledge of a standard at the end of a unit. I even did that sometimes throughout with quick checks. So what, when, and where. This is something that's kind of hard, I think, for a lot of teachers, really in that time constraints that we are given. But what are they learning, when are they learning it, and where are they learning it? This is something, though, that we have worked on as a district in Eudora on really looking, are we teaching things at an appropriate time? Are we teaching certain subjects during Black History Month where we could elaborate and really bring that culture in and with our diversity of our school and really hone in on that. So we've really started looking at just when and where we're teaching different things. Authenticity. Does the work that your student produced seem as significant to employers and members of the community? Yeah, especially in the upper grades, this is important. Are students just producing a piece of work, or could it be used and seen by members of the community or an employer that may potentially be able to help them get a job or learning a trade skill or something that would move them forward in the future? Challenge. Are we addressing higher and meaningful standards of excellence? Are we just really working on that knowledge level questioning, or are we digging deep into our knowledge base? What is our rigor? That is something we talk about a lot in my building. And rigor, what we don't want to meet our kiddo, or we want our kiddos to start here and get here. So we are going to bring them up. We're not going to teach everything here. We need to really make sure that we are giving them rigorous curriculum. Application. Are the opportunities to apply the skills in a real world setting? This is something that I like to incorporate with project-based learning. Last year, my 5th grade students, we did a country, and they were able to produce a product and market their product and sell their product like a store. We voted democratically. We came with a name and a flag and everything. So really just able to take some of the skills that they learned throughout social studies. We were able to put that into a real world setting where we had a market day where they could sell their products that they made. Okay, standard correlation. I think the standard specifically states the promote to current and future success and well-being of each student. When a student has the ability to have input in what they are learning, students are more successful in the classroom. When students are successful in school, they socially, emotionally affected in a positive way and enjoy coming to school. The relevance of this assignment made me reflect on why we are at school every day. We are here for the students and what makes them most successful. Our instruction should be focused around what's best practices for our students. Listening to a student speak about what helps them learn the best is important to a successful learning environment. As a future leader in a school, students are first and foremost, and this was a good reminder of what is important to them. And then I really enjoyed actually watching this video, especially since it came from a student's point of view. I love to hear students' opinions on thoughts and learning. When I was in the classroom, I loved having a classroom with a lot of choices and a lot of project-based learning. When you give the ability to make a decision in what and how they are learning, just like an adult, you feel like your voices are heard and that you have an input in what you are learning. Students feel exactly the same. As a future school leader, keeping the 10 norms in mind when making curricular decisions will be important for the success of my students and staff. Thank you.